right. The good news out of Mazur. The bad news, like everything else.
Everything
Like,
else.
all the other things, Jim, like the team part and like the scoring runs and
Right.
outscoring
The
people.
25 other guys on the team.
Those other dudes, the coaching staff, the front office, Luis Arraez, his last at bat. Like what? Like he
Actually,
looked
like 23, because Michael King and Matt Waldron pitched really well the last 2 days.
Well, you've wasted 3 consecutive 6+ inning outings of 1 run or less from you're 0-3 with 3 consecutive starts of 6+ innings, 1 run or fewer. And the Padres have lost those games. They're all the way back to 500. We're going to talk about it all over the next hour. So as you make your way in, we just passed 6,300 subscribers. We need your help to get to 6,400 subscribers. If you are here live or on replay, please subscribe. Smash the like button for us. We need a couple of hundred likes tonight, even though the Padres lost. Follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the super chats. You know that's a great way to support the channel. If you want to make sure we get your comment and see it, you can click the $sign below the chat box. We'll get to every single super chat here tonight. Thank you for your memberships as well. You can click join down below. This is recurring right now. They're not scoring. Yuki Matsui in the bullpen has been in high leverage spots. He's not coming through. They flat out cannot hit left-handed pitching to the point that it's beyond concerning. It's like now the crux of the season for the San Diego Padres. And you just lost a series in Anaheim. They're the only team in baseball to lose a series in Anaheim other than the Angels this year. And the Padres are back to 32-32.
I mean, they're the definition of mid at 500. I was actually surprised Schulte had a little bit of a critical tone to his post-game press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like legitimately shocked when he kind of agreed that, like, yeah, Yuki Matsui, he tried to pull some analytics bullshit out of his ass. That's like, I don't want to hear that, Mike. He fucking sucked tonight. Okay. He sucked the last couple times.
Wait, what did he say about Matsui? Tell me, say that again.
It was along the lines of, yeah, he needs to throw strikes. He can't be walking a bunch of people. Yeah. And then he pulled some analytics like, well, before the last couple outings, he was really, really good. He hadn't
walked anyone in 7 straight outings. Yeah.
Yeah, some bullshit. It's like, shut the fuck up, Mike. Like, you guys just lost the Angels. I don't give a shit. Okay. Like, Yuki Matsui has cost you 2 straight games, or 2 straight games that he's appeared in. Yep. And your offense can't score against the lefty if their life depended on it. And you guys are a 500 baseball team, and you've lost your 2 top starters for the foreseeable future. And I mean, what else? Like, you can't.
They're in a playoff position.
Great. The playoffs don't start tomorrow. You know.
No, but they'll be their season's not over with this as bad.
No. I
mean, they've actually gotten good starting pitching. And
what's going to be annoying though, John, is that we're going to be talking for the rest of the season about a basically 500 baseball team that is like going to be in very good position to make the postseason.
Maybe. I mean, will they be a 500 team? Will they be worse than it? Will they be better than it? Will someone in the National League? Will someone in the National League actually do something that's below them?
Hover around it, I think.
Arizona.
I mean, I don't know, but I just think it's going to be very weird to be like, it's so. I mean, and then maybe they do something in the postseason if they get lucky enough to get there. But isn't it going to feel weird? Be like, man, what a great year this 82-80 team made the postseason.
Yes and no, but baseball did this to themselves, and we've talked about this now over the last couple of years. This is every year in baseball now. I mean, every year, if you're a 500 team, you'll have a chance in September. I wouldn't anticipate that they fall drastically under. I'm not anticipating they go drastically over. I do think the starting pitching issues that you just discussed are a concern because we've seen what happened like 2020 postseason, 2021 at the end of the regular season when they ran out of pitching. AJ Preller's got to be aware of this. And we'll get into what was discussed today. With the White Sox starter Crochet, with the Athletic report on that, Jeff Passan saying they're highly aggressive in the starting pitching market. Starting pitching has actually carried the day here recently for the Padres. Now, all of a sudden, their offense looks anemic. It's almost like they've been playing at Petco Park. And then there's Luis Arraez. It has nothing to do with his 0-for-5. It has everything to do with him wincing in the batter's box in the 9th inning. If he's not healthy, and maybe Arraez says, write me on the card. I'm playing. I don't care what the trainers say. And that's on Arraez. But, guys, it's the Angels on June 4th. if he needs another 2 days, you have to give this guy's way too important to your lineup. He's way too critical to fool around with someone that's capable of hitting 350 in a full season. If he's not healthy, and if it's the difference in a day or two or three, shoot, if it's a week, he's got to get healthy. You cannot play this guy if he's not capable of being the hitter that we've seen him be this year.
Do you think it had anything to do with him getting hit in the tricep early in the game?
Not really. Maybe. I mean, that's also concerning. But a swing to me is more like the extension play. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but
you got an offense that is just, I mean, like Manny Machado to clutch it, you go up 1-0. They were up 1-0 yesterday. You have to, how can Adam Mazur pitch that way, get the ground ball double plays, throw 77 pitches in 6 innings? I mean, that is a masterpiece in a major league debut, and you give him nothing, no support. You don't show up for a pitcher in that situation. Like, that's super troublesome. Again, yesterday, Tyler Anderson, good. Today, whoever the hell it was, Sandoval, bad. Like, you have to find a way to do more damage against Sandoval, and they just cannot hit any left-handed pitcher. It's crazy.
All singles tonight.
Oh,
all
they
singles.
single you to death, or they single themselves to death.
Oh, they singled this team to death, and the lack of pop is concerning. I mean, it's just, you love everything that Jurickson Profar's done for this team. Tonight he had a bad read in left field. I don't know if he even had a good read if he would have caught it, but still, horrible read in left field. There's a reason why he's taken out of games late in the game when they have a lead.
True.
But I mean, again, if he is your best offensive player, you are not a good baseball team. I'm sorry, you're not. And yes, Manny's heating up. Yes, Toddy's heating up. But this has to be like, okay, there's a slow burn happening with those two guys. This thing needs to go nuclear pretty quickly. And Manny having 6 home runs on the year is unacceptable. Tatis on the year with a below 800 OPS is unacceptable. You need those guys to start becoming like white hot here, and not just
they were kind of like white hot tonight with their singles.
No. Like I need impact, bigger impact.
Yeah,
okay?
That's fair.
Like, for a prolonged stretch, you can show me the numbers. I watch the games. This is a soft burn. Okay. This is a burn that you turn the oven on and it's like slow simmer. It's hot, but it's not like white hot.
Scorching. Yeah.
Scorching. They need to get scorching hot. Profar being your best offensive player is unacceptable. It just, when you have Manny and Toddy on your team, plain and simple.
Look, now you're right. Now I think it's fair to take the defense of Machado and Tatis in the moment. While you're right, they can absolutely perform better even when they're quote unquote hotter. Manny Machado has hit in 10 consecutive games, is 3 for 4 today. Fernando Tatis Jr. has completely heated up. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's hitting 9 of 10 or 8 of 9. He had a couple of hits here today. Like, both of their OPSs are actually getting to the point where it's going to be semi-respectable potentially. Like, Tatis could get over 800 as soon as like tomorrow. Machado's going to go over 700. I know it's been. I'm just saying, like, Machado and Tatis have actually done something here recently. What about everyone else?
You're right, and I'm not like blaming the loss on those two guys.
No, not. But even the recent play, it's like, I'm with you. I want to see Machado get hotter. I'd like to see a 2 home run game. Same thing with Tatis. I'd like to see a 2 home run game. I'd like to see 2 home runs in 2 games, something like that. So I'm with you. You're spot on. But like, and this has nothing to do with Jackson Merrill. We told you this before the year. I said, if I would have had $100, is he going to have an OPS over 700? Of course, he wasn't going to have an OPS over 700. Everyone said, look, he's got a 950 OPS, John. The first week of the season, this guy's been he's got 648 OPS, guys. So, and that, by the way, completely understandable. 20-year-old switching positions, being thrown into the deep end of the pool. Luis Campusano is as bad as a hitting catcher as there is in baseball today. That's how bad he's been. I mean, he's been awful, as bad as any hitter in baseball over the last month. Ha-Seong Kim is I know he's had some moments, but he's disappeared all year. Like, there's so many issues in here. You have to have the 3-hit Luis Arraez. Like, to make this thing work, Luis Arraez has to be on base 3 times. Or, like, I'm sorry, Solano, Kimmy, Merrill, Campy. Like, nah, I'm sorry, that's not a good formula.
Remember when we talked about it like a month ago? Campisano, what's the most games he's caught in a Major League Baseball season? Like what, 30?
It was like 30. I mean, this guy can't catch. Also, that's another issue.
Well, that's also another issue. Once you get past the point of the, career high games caught behind the plate, and you also couple that with you can't hit, and you couple that with your framing sucks. I mean, that's
Dude,
a lot.
Like I'm looking, I might be looking for catching help right now. I mean,
Probably.
it's been that bad. Like they need a starting pitcher. Oh, they could use an upgrade over Yuki Matsui. Oh, they could use more pop. They need a catcher. And I'm not saying this is who he's going to be all year, but it's been that bad. Like this guy hasn't had a hit, like since the Clinton administration. It's been a long time.
Yeah, the others, and I know I talked about Toddy and Manny, right? But like, yes, the others are regressing
nothing.
To the mean, to the back of their baseball cards. And that's funny how that works. Now, Manny and Toddy hopefully get to the back of their baseball cards. But even with their horrible starts, you're kind of like, man, they got to do a lot of work to do that.
They're going to have to do a
lot of work. And Manny mostly. Toddy can doesn't have to do a lot of work, but still.
Yeah.
Mostly Manny. Does Manny have over 700 OPS right now?
It's like 695 or something, which is as high as it's been all year.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, this team does not play consistently clean baseball. I don't care what the fuck Mike Schilt tells you. They are sloppy at times. They can't score consistently at times. They can never hit a left-hander pitcher. What was the stat you said today on John and Jim? The ERA of lefties.
That's freaking crazy. Here's the thing. I thought it was actually all season. Let me qualify it. Okay, here it is. Their last 16 games against left-handed starters, which is most of the year. You've only played 64 games. So let's say that's 80, 90% of the season. Their last 16 games against a left-handed starter. Opponent ERA coming into today was 1.37.
Pathetic.
So, and today the starter, whatever the hell he did, what'd he do?
And they all have right-handed hitters.
That's the part that makes it so confounding and confusing. Like, these are the guys that should actually hit. Now, Machado, again, has struggled against lefties, had 3 hits. Tatis has struggled against lefties, that had a couple of hits. But on the whole, they're as bad of a hitting team as there is in baseball against left-handed pitching. I don't care what the numbers say. I'm just telling you that's the truth. If they're 29th, they're 29th. But that's about as bad as it gets. Let's get to some of these supers like Harv, who's awake at 6 a.m. in London for this garbage. Thank you, Harv, for the super. Thank you for is that I want to say, since like, I don't think Jim really follows like Euro politics, but there was the Brexit. So now they're back to pounds as opposed to euros. Jim's going to be in Europe later this summer, so I'm sure I'll have more on that coming up. But thank you, Harv, for the super chat and for waking up early for us. And Irie Fangeek, what's going on, man? Thank you for your super chat. He says the Padres way ? Excuse for a team that cannot hit home runs. I mean, they're somewhere in between here. The last 3 days have been a complete and utter failure. They're 32-32. The season's not over, like we said. They're in playoff position if it ended right now. They have concerns. Arraez starting pitching. They have no like. If you're AJ, Jim, you got other issues other than, hey, I need a starting pitcher. Oh, I need a catcher. Oh, I have no pop. Oh, Yuki Matsui is problematic for me right now in the back of my bullpen. Like, this isn't a one size fixes everything thing for AJ Preller, if that makes sense.
Their number one issue is the starting pitching, even though the starting pitching the last 3 days has been really phenomenal. But over the long haul, it's not always going to be like this. And then I would say another bat for sure. You don't miss Xander at all. Xander was giving you nothing anyway, but even with Xander, you still need another bat because the team has no pop, 0 pop. And other than that, yeah, bullpen. I mean, everything, right? This team is not good enough to say they only have one problem. They have multiple problems.
Yeah.
They are a 500 team, and every 500 team in baseball has multiple problems, not just one. The only teams that have like maybe one problem are like the Yankees and the Phillies and the Orioles, right? Everybody else has multiple problems.
I mean, the craziest stat that you've ever heard, it's kind of deceptive or feels deceptive because they've singled you to death on the road. At times, they're still good on the road overall. They're 12th in baseball in slug, in power. They're 12th in baseball in slug.
Crazy.
How? I would say actually with singling people to death, not with power, but they've been able to get on base at a good enough clip that their slug is a little higher than the major league average. I don't know if that's going to continue or not. I mean, maybe it does because Toddy and Manny get hot, even if the rest of the guys regress, but it feels like they're nowhere near 12th in baseball in slug.
No,
I mean, that's what, but again, they surprise you with those 4-run innings. That's what saved them. They've got those 4-run innings left and right, but they haven't had them the last 3 days.
They'll have like they had that 8-run inning versus the Royals, and it was like 7 straight singles. It's like singles to death.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's just gonna be like, it will be frustrating to have to cover this 500 baseball team for the entire season and then have to, pretty much put lipstick on a pig if they make the postseason. Because it's like everything's fine. They made the postseason with 82 wins. If they make a run, then it's different. And then you're like, holy shit. But, at the same time, I don't know. That's just me. Like, it's like in the NFL when a 7-9 team made the postseason. You're like, this is great.
Right. They won the division.
It's like, guys, you were in a shitty division. You went 7-9. Let's stop pretending what this really is. It's just not it. Okay. Same thing how I feel about the National League right now. The National League is not good besides one team. Even the Dodgers have major problems. But besides one team in the National League, everybody else has major issues. And
you're saying the Phillies?
Yes.
Yeah, and the Dodgers. I mean, because you just trust over 162, they'll figure it out, right?
Well, their division sucks. And so if they're just going to they're going to win their division by default.
By default, yeah. They'll win 90+ games.
But like, don't you feel that? Like we got to cover this 500 baseball team, and they're going to be in the mix for sure. And we got to treat it like they're like good. We don't even know if they're good or not.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely do. I mean, I think again, it's like, honestly, it's like, how much can you ask of AJ Preller in one calendar year? Like, you're going to add Luis Arraez, a hit king, Dylan Cease second in Cy Young voting. You're going to go out and get Garrett Crochet, 24-year-old left-handed starter with a huge year. I'm just making this up. If they do, you're going to then add a catcher. You're going to go out a power corner piece. Like, I'm saying, like in the infield, they're not. I don't know. It's not going to happen. But whatever. Like, how much can you ask him to do? And I'm not saying he's put this team in some great spot and they're underperforming. I don't even know what I'm saying. But I am saying, like, AJ Preller can only do so much lifting within 1 year. Like, how much lifting can this guy really do? I mean, whether you like him or not, he can't completely change over the entire roster with all-stars.
I mean, look, for the first month and a half of the season, if your superstars were actually superstars and like did anything, then they would not be 500 right now.
I agree.
I like the players. That was the whole thing. I'm just simplifying it. If the superstars aren't superstars this season, they aren't going to do shit. And the superstars weren't superstars for the first month and a half. Xander was horrific, and he's not missed at all. And now they're kind of heating up a little bit, but it's not like to a point where they're putting this team on their backs. And it's pretty much the biggest reason why they're 500, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I do. I think that's fair.
And I'm not blaming them for tonight's loss, by the way. If people think that. I'm not saying tonight was on Manny or Toddy because they actually did shit. But I'm talking about the entirety of the season. You look at it, they're 500. And why are they 500? Yeah, some bullpen issues. And their superstars started out the season all shitty. And the others had to carry this team. And that's why they're where they are.
No, I agree with you. Nicholas, thank you for, I believe, a super sticker, which shows up on YouTube. We appreciate
Thanks, man.
your support of the channel. We're going to tell you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz, here at Farmers Insurance. We've been talking to Mark all night. As you can imagine, he's not thrilled as a lifelong Padres fan and a San Diegan. If you support the channel, a lot of you are here, whether it's live or on replay. We really appreciate it if you subscribe. Please subscribe. Year-round content, the home of real Padres talk. We have year-round content for you. Smash the like button. Thank you for the supers. We'll get to all of them here tonight. It's a great way to support the channel. You can also support the channel by supporting our partners like Mark at Farmers Insurance. He's been with us since day one, 3 years of Mark Nimitz here on the wrap-up show. I've got 3 insurance policies through Mark. homeowner's life and earthquake, and you can as well. He can save you money just by switching. I'm talking about real money, like $750 or more. In addition to that, he's a great insurance agent. How do I know it? Because he's my insurance agent. And a couple of years ago, I had to file a claim. We were out of our house for a couple of weeks. He took care of everything. He saved us so much time, so much money. He does more. He does auto. He does renters. He does condo. I mean, whatever you need from an insurance perspective, Mark is there for you. If you support the channel, please support Mark Nimitz. You can click the link in the description down below. You can get free quotes online or by calling Mark. We'll talk to you about the Padres. We'll talk to you about saving money on your insurance as well. So please support our title sponsor. Click that link in the description down below for Mark.
All this information in the description below and the ticker, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you. Yeah.
Here's the thing. The biggest story of the day has nothing to do with this game. It's what both Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal and Dennis Lin, there's actually three people, but two outlets reported, which is the Padres are in on starting pitching. Passan saying even before Musgrove and Darvish, for whatever it's worth. And then Lin and Rosenthal doubling down with a specific player, Garrett Crochet, 24-year-old left-hander for the White Sox, who's had a very good year for a bad team. 93 strikeouts, 69 innings. First-time starter, controllable for the next 2.5 years. Would not come cheap, obviously, because he's 24 and controllable for the next 2.5 years. It makes $800,000. But we know they have a real interest in acquiring starting pitching. I mean, we know that from Passan, from the injuries, from Rosenthal and Lin. I don't know when they'll strike. They will strike. I don't know if it's Garrett Crochet. I don't know what it would cost. But the Padres are absolutely hunting for starting pitching as we speak. Probably right now, here tonight, AJ Preller is on the phone with someone, if I was guessing.
Of course he is.
Might be his mom, but
like I would bet so much money on him making another trade.
Well, of course he will.
For like a big time trade, not a small one. Over under 2.5 trades made by Preller for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I'd lean over.
3 trades?
Yeah, I mean, he made 3 last year and the team sucked.
3.
Like
so that will mean that he will have made, what, 5 trades total this year if he makes 3 more? That's crazy.
Probably more than that, truth. Has he only made 2 so far?
Yeah, because the Solano and Peralta were like waiver wire signings.
Yeah, I think he's going to be aggressive. Yeah, I mean, I
5 trades in 1 year. That's a lot. Am I wrong?
He changed over a third of his roster in 2020 on one day.
True. That's true. You're right.
So no, this is his MO. I mean, I'd almost be like worried if he doesn't. Like, this is, dude, he got him into this mess. He's got to get him out of it. He's acquired some elite major league talent this year in Luis Arraez and Dylan Cease. So it's like, dude, I don't care. It's like, I'm trusting him until he's gone. So like, let him do what he's going to do. I'm not saying burn it down. I'm not saying go trade everyone. But like, you either get this team into the postseason or someone else is going to try to get this team into the postseason next time.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of wild if he does everything possible, trades away Lesko, trades away Snelling, and they make the postseason with 83 wins and they lose in the first round, or they miss the postseason.
I can't predict. I can't fault his moves on whether they win or not in the postseason. I can fault him if he doesn't get into the postseason.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of, yes, the ultimate goal, no matter what, is make the postseason. But I do think there's still like, was it good enough conversation to be had if you make it like 83 and 79 or 82 and 80, and you're like, all those resources that you invested and the prospects you traded away and the moves you made and the money to be an 83 win team at best.
I agree. But we also both agree it's kind of a black and white business.
I know it is, and that's where it's hard to evaluate too.
I know, and they're not the Yankees. Like, if the Yankees got in 82 and 80 and lost in 2 games, they'll have a different decision.
They have a winning standard as a franchise.
Yeah, and the Padres don't. So I mean, that's just the truth. I mean,
I know
Padres fans have been so supportive for a team that even this decade, the decade of the Padres, has been up and down, and they have had good moments this decade. They've also had some awful seasons like 2021 and 2023. Murray, thank you for the super chat. He says, came in to say one thing. That was pathetic.
Yeah.
Good night, all. Thank you, Murray, for your support of the channel. I mean, yeah, tonight was not good. And by the way, I can't be sold on this. I'm all for celebrating Adam Mazur. I thought he was very good, and I hope to see him again. And I think he can contribute. And if he can somehow have that type of effectiveness, obviously not to that extent, maybe, but if he can make 15 starts or something for you in the major leagues this year, then that could be a big win over the next 15 starts. But it's not a win just because he went 6 innings of one-run baseball in a loss. Like, that's not a quote-unquote win. We can celebrate Adam Mazur. That was great for him personally, but you can't say from a team perspective everything's figured out because Adam Mazur went 6 innings in one random start, right? It doesn't fix your overall issues. He's got to prove it to us over the next 5, 10, 15 starts if that's what the organization chooses to do with him. But I can't be sold on, well, Joe Musgrove he only went 3 innings, and if he went 4, it would have been a good outing. And Adam Mazur went 6 innings, so yeah, the team lost, but it's a win for the team. No, it's the big leagues. It's not. It's not.
You know what that is, John? When someone says that, that is what we call moving the goalposts, because the only thing that matters and what the headline should be is Adam Mazur great start, Padres waste Adam Mazur's great debut.
Major league debut.
That's the headline. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no silver lining here. The headline is Padres waste great start from Adam Mazur. That's it. There's no silver lining here. The only thing that matters is the wins and losses this season. If this team was not expected to go to the postseason or expected to compete for a postseason spot or anything like that, then yeah, if this was the 2017 Padres, I buy it. Like, that's fine. Yes, the future of Adam Mazur is more important than what they do this season. If it was 2017, that's not the case in 2024. The team is more important than what Adam Mazur is doing right now.
And to your point, here's one other thing you always have to consider. We talk about it all the time on John and Jim and the wrap-up show. Even if Mazur catches lightning in a bottle, and he might be, everything that he's being touted to be, let's say he is the pitcher that you saw tonight for the remainder of the year, he'll be put on a very strict limit sooner rather than later. Second year in pro ball, under 100 innings in his only pro season. Now, they gave him some rope, 96 innings, but you don't go as he just turned 23 45 days ago. You don't go from 96 to 170. And by the way, he's already thrown like 60 innings. If you include today, he's at like 60 innings. There's 4 months left of the major league season. So there's a dichotomy in itself. You want to see him be effective. Everyone does. But they'll be very cautious as you get into August. If this guy's making 10 or 15 starts between now and August, they're going to have to reel it in, because it's you have to think about the long term with a 23-year-old prospect pitcher, even if you have to think about the team in 2024 as well. So that's why no matter what, you have to add pitching. Even if Mazur is the real deal, even if Waldron keeps this up, you don't know what happens after the trade deadline. Anyone could go down at any moment. Look at Chris Paddock. Look at Joe Musgrove. Look at all these examples. Mike Clevenger, Dinelson Lamet. You have to add pitching. I don't care how well your starting rotation is pitching August 1st.
It's June 4th, not September 4th. And 4 of the 5 guys now in your starting rotation are either at or going to be very soon pitched the most innings they've ever pitched in the big leagues in their entire career, or at least in their careers just in general, like you talk about Adam Mazur. Michael King is 28 innings away from the most innings he's ever pitched in baseball. You got Waldron already surpassing the most innings he's ever pitched. Randy Vasquez will soon pass the most innings he's ever pitched in the big leagues. And then Adam Mazur, like you just mentioned, will very soon, not actually very soon, he's already done it, because he's not been in the bigs and he's not been in professional baseball for that long. Most innings he's ever pitched his entire career. The only guy that I trust is Dylan Cease.
Sure.
Everybody else is a wild
180 inning guy.
Everybody else is a wild card. So that's where I also You look at Crochet. We talked about Crochet today. He's having a fantastic year from a like advanced analytics standpoint. His ERA is kind of whatever. It's high threes, mid threes.
No, 3-4, I think.
But like the rest of his numbers are all fantastic. He's also another guy. This year, most innings he's ever pitched in the big leagues in his entire career. So do you want to go out and get that guy and then put him in a rotation with a bunch of other dudes that are currently pitching the most innings they've ever pitched in their entire career in baseball on June 4th with 4 months remaining in the season? Or do you go out and get a guy that's a proven pitcher that's thrown consistently 150 plus innings in his career for multiple seasons?
Right. The Tyler Andersons, the Jesus Luzardos. Jesus Luzardo's really struggling right now. But yeah, there will be options, and there's probably pros and cons with the veteran as opposed to the youngster, controllable, non-controllable, what it's going to cost to get them, how much money these players make. I mean, there's a lot, obviously, to get to. We'll get back to the conversation in a moment. We do want to remind you about our new partner here on the Wrap-Up Show, our friends at Finnie, a local San Diego startup. Huge Padres fans, offices that look into Petco Park, truly do overlook Petco Park. The simplest way to explain Finnie is Finnie makes it so that anyone can own a piece of potential upside of real athletes. So let's explain. They've got their first athlete. His name is Shedry Vargas. He's one of the top 10 or 11 prospects in the Texas Rangers organization. You, as an individual, can now support a rising prospect and get paid a piece of his future major league earnings. He signed for very little money. They're raising capital, and that's going to allow him to focus on baseball year-round. Fernando Tatis Jr. did a deal with a company like Finnie called Big League Advance a few years ago, gave up 10% of future earnings. That's $34 million. Imagine if you could have invested in Fernando Tatis Jr. Make no mistake, we're not saying Shedry Vargas is Fernando Tatis Jr. We have no idea. He's 19 years of age. If he reaches the big leagues, you will have a chance to be paid dividends on your investment. I scrolled down. You can see you can invest for as little as $96. If he reaches the big leagues, you could turn that $96 investment into hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. If you invest more, you could potentially have a larger return as well. So really great company, really cool. Like, this is one of the very few opportunities anyone's ever had to truly invest in an actual professional athlete. If you're looking for more information, all you have to do is click that link in the description down below.
Yeah, Finnie, glad they're on board. Their offices are right across Petco Park. Mark Grant is an advisor of Finnie, and Keith Law, very high on a Shedry Vargas, top prospect inside of the Rangers organization. If you have any questions or want to learn more about Finnie, like John said, click the link in the description below, takes you to their website, and everything that you want to know about Finnie is there to research it. So click the link in the description below, and we're glad Finley's aboard with the Wrap-Up Show.
I'm happy to have the Yuki Matsui conversation. I mean, he's not throwing strikes.
What
like, you're asking for trouble with 2 walks. Now, I thought the ball over the mound was a bad break.
That's a tough play.
Because, first of all, Solano leaves the bag. Mm-hmm. It's a bang-bang play. It's tough on all accords. I thought that I'm not going to dock Matsui for, but I'm going to dock him for the 2 walks. You can't walk 2 guys. You just can't do that in a 1-1 game. I mean, that's completely egregious alone. I'm not going to dock him for the infield hit or whatever the hell they ruled it. I don't know if it was a hit or an error. I assume it's a hit. So he's struggling to throw strikes. So that's problematic. I'm not saying send the guy down. I wouldn't do that. I think you'd probably take him out of that role that you're asking him to fill. But listen, you've got 2 elite relievers. We all know it. From there, you've got some guys that have been good, you know, the Peraltas, the De Los Santos, the Matsuis, but they've also not been good at times. So you got your elite. Yeah, I mean, Kolik's obviously a disaster at this point and won't be pitching in any leverage situation for a long time.
Yeah.
But so I don't really know what to say about it. Relievers have highs and lows. It's his first year in the big leagues. He has not pitched well his last 2 times out. You could argue he's cost them games, no question about it. But I don't think he's going anywhere in terms of like the minor leagues.
Now, I don't have it in front of me. And it's, I mean, there's probably a reason, and I'm not going to like completely be like, what the fuck? Because it's his first start in the big leagues ever. 77 pitches for Mazur through 6?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it, Jim. His big league debut, all that adrenaline. I don't want to force it, you know?
Yeah. If it was anybody else, if it was Dylan Cease, if it was.
Oh, yeah, he's got to stay out there. Joe Musgrove or something. He's going like 8 innings.
So it's hard for me to sit here and be like,
debut.
what is he doing taking him out after 77 pitches?
I got no problem with it.
Me neither. But it's something. It's just I'm just putting it out there.
Sure. No, it's true. I just think those are, dude, you've never pitched with that. I'm just saying, like, if you're Mazur, you've never pitched with that level of adrenaline. Your velocity's up. You're freaking, this is max effort stuff. This is the big leagues.
Right. No, I get it.
I kind of understand it.
Yeah. You want to make sure that one, he leaves on the highest of highs, which he pitched 6 beautiful innings in his major league debut. You make sure you get him out of there with at least a chance to get a win. I mean, what if he gave up a run in the 7th and go down 2-1 and say he finishes the 7th, 7 innings, 2 runs? You're like, fantastic. Guess what? He's probably going to get the L. Right.
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally get it. But the Matsui thing, like, now you have 2 guys in your bullpen who you're just not going to use for this foreseeable future in any high leverage situation.
Right.
You know, like you have Morejon, Peralta, De Los Santos, Estrada, and Suarez. That's it. 5. And then Kolek and Matsui, you're just not going to use when you have a lead.
Not with a lead, yeah. Not right now.
And you can't use
Matsui
those 5 guys.
Back, I would guess.
You can't use those 5 guys every single day on like back-to-back days. Like they're going to have to mix and match and everything. And it's tough when you have 2 guys that are just unusable with a lead.
They've got I mean, it's a really interesting spot that they're in. I don't know who they are right now.
Brito, is Brito another? I mean,
he's not trustable, really.
No.
He's quasi-trustable. Morejon is trustable, arguably.
He's
had a very good year.
You trust those guys.
But I was just saying, like, I don't have a good feel for like who they are. For a moment, I felt like I knew who they were. They had Arraez going. You had Darvish for a moment going. He had like 4 straight scoreless starts. You had Musgrove back. Like I felt like they had like I don't know. There was something. You had Suarez and Estrada. Like I felt like I knew something about this team. Like they had an identity. And now I'm like, well, Arraez is kind of tweaked. Their bullpen's blown some. Has not pitched well in high leverage spots. I don't have a great feel right now for them. I really don't. I can't sit around expecting them to have 5-run innings all the time. Like they've done that through 60 games, and that's great and brilliant and should be celebrated. Are they going to do it for the next 100? Are they really going to batting average on balls and play people to death for 162 games? Even with their absurd BABIP luck, so to speak, they're 32-32 with BABIP luck. You could argue whether it's luck or not. I'll say it's luck.
They're going to try their hardest, John.
That's the thing. Like, can you really, quote unquote, get away with that for 162 games? And then can you get away with not having Darvish and Musgrove as well and Xander Bogaerts?
Well, Xander, I don't even consider like a
loss. I agree.
I really don't. I mean, it's actually an addition by subtraction with him, in my opinion.
Maybe
for this year, maybe not for the rest of his career, because then you just have a giant $28 million hole over there at second base.
Right.
What was the question again?
I mean, who are they? They can't.
Who are they?
Are they really going to be this 50-win road team? The answer is probably no. They just lost back-to-back games to the Angels.
They lost 3 straight road games when they're the best team in baseball on the road, 19-12.
What are they now? 19-14?
19-15?
I don't know if they're 19-15 or not.
Because were they 19-12 going into Sunday?
I don't know. We can look. I'm looking right now. They are. Dude, they're 19-13, even with today. They're 13-19 at home, 19-13 on the road.
So they were 19-10 going into Sunday.
They were about to be 20-10. They were 3 outs away from 20-10.
Yeah. Yeah. That Sunday loss just it's a freaking trickle effect, dude.
Yeah.
It's just everything.
Well, we can all, someone DM me like this is Stephen Kolek's fault, because it's stupid to say that. And he was joking, but like the idea that you had to bring Suarez in and yada, 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 it begins this long domino effect.
But at the same time, like, how about this? How about you score more than 1 fucking run or 2 runs? Like, it's not. If I'm going to blame Stephen Kolek, I'm blaming the offense because
I'm not really blaming Stephen Kolek, but you know what I mean.
Yes, man,
he cannot be blamed for these 2 games. By the way, if anyone really thinks this goes back to last Friday, but again, the point is everything is tied to everything, if that makes sense. That's what you got to remember with baseball. Everything is tied to everything. So, like, we don't know what happens if Mazur starts the seventh inning. You're right. If he gets the first out, maybe they give him a second batter and he gets the second. Like, and maybe they win this game. Everything is tied to everything. They all have domino effects, positively or negatively. That's the job of Mike Schilt, to point it in the right direction, knowing that everything matters. He's managed fine. He hasn't poorly managed the club. He hasn't overly exceeded. He's managed fine.
He's managed fine.
And they are where they are.
Yeah, you're right. He's managed fine. He just has a delusional mindset of what this team, I think, really is.
Maybe, and yes, maybe that's true.
I think what this team is, John, is a 500 team that has played. I mean, the description of the team,
right,
is they're a average baseball team that plays really good at home, can't hit lefties. Or sorry, average baseball team that plays good on the road. They suck at home. They can't hit lefties, and their superstars haven't performed up to the level of being superstars for the season.
That's a good summary. I mean, I think we're at the point where teams will bring in left-handed relievers with worse numbers just to do it. Would be my guess. Like, I'm loading up. Like,
lefty,
I'm loading
lefty
up, man. And again, you can't always do that. If you've got a team with 5 right-handed starters, and I'm sure they exist in baseball, then of course you're not going to call up lefties just to start. But the thing is, like, where typically maybe you wouldn't go to lefty in relief, against the Padres, I am. I mean, I feel like some of this is like a mental hurdle for them in general. And again, I have to look at the slug numbers too against left-handed pitching. It's got to be even worse because it's just, right now, I don't know. It's just a huge problem that seems like it should be a simple fix. They actually hit lefties well last year. And now they suck against lefties. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Sandoval
just like
came
them
in
not
today.
Winning extra innings didn't make any sense last year.
Sandoval for the Angels came in today with like a 6 ERA at home.
Yeah.
6.
And he was really good.
And the Angels haven't won back-to-back games at home all year long.
Right. Until tonight.
All right. They are hitting 229 as a team versus lefties. Cronenworth's 203. Tatis is hitting 212. Kim's hitting 210. Manny's hitting 186 versus lefties. Merrill, 212. Xander, doesn't matter. Luis Arraez hitting 311. And Jerkson Profile hitting 333. So that's your best guy. Luis Campusano's
including
hitting... What?
Does it include today or not? The stats?
Probably not.
Okay, because Manny had 3 hits.
62 games. But coming into tonight, Luis Campusano, 093 versus left-handed pitching. Okay. Yeah. The only guys that are doing anything versus lefties are Donovan Solano, Jerkson Profar, and Luis Arraez. And there's been times this year where they've sat Luis Arraez because of a lefty on the mound.
Yeah, I think twice.
Matchup. Yet he's hitting 311 versus lefties. Fucking pathetic if he ever sits ever again versus a lefty.
Well, look at it this way. He's in the lineup per today against a lefty. That's all you need to know about their struggles against left-handed pitching, that he's can't swing, and he's in there against a left-handed pitcher. I have no problem with Luis Arraez taking a day. Like, this is a long stint here. This guy is a natural-born hitter, but he's got to be healthy. He's got to have the ability to swing the bat, and he did not look right. And in the 9th inning, it was really concerning. He's wincing in the batter's box. Like, that's of grave concern. Probably my number one concern coming out of this thing is Luis Arraez's health. It's not scoring. It's not hitting with men in scoring positions. Not everything. It's Luis Arraez, because this guy's capable, when healthy, of hitting 350 for the Padres this year, if not better than that. But I mean, gosh forbid we have to see this guy, quote unquote, struggle or be hurt for a significant period of time. Like that changes a lot of the dynamic of the offense.
Yep. Especially an offense that, like, just has no slug. I mean, Tatis has double-digit home runs, but
does he? He's got 10.
He's got 10.
I don't remember the 10th was that one. Was it in KC, dude, on Sunday?
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, that was like a vintage Tatis swing.
Like, he's got an outside shot, Jim, with a 30. He's a 10. Like, he'll be in the 20s. You just double up, and he's in the 20s and 130 games in. If he gets hot, he could hit 30. Machado, like, I mean, is it
6
even
home runs?
possible?
6.
Right.
6.
Like he would need a 6-homer week to have the conversation about 30. You know?
Yeah, they're mid, they're average, they're an average baseball team with so many ups and downs that we're gonna have. I mean, again, don't get it twisted. If anybody tries to tell you this team is better than their record, it feels like they should be,
It
but
does sometimes.
at this point in time, like I kind of am just on the I'm kind of leaning towards more like they're just kind of average.
What
Like
about the series? What about the series? So they've won 8 of 11.
the what?
The series. They keep winning series.
So they're 500.
But they're 8-2 over a 10 series stretch. First time since 2009.
If they win a series versus the D-backs this weekend, and I hear Schulte say we won 9 of 12, I'll fucking lose my mind. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I literally don't care. I just don't. I saw that tweet I sent you. It's like we've won 32 of our first 60 games. We should be all happy about that.
We've won 32 of our first 64.
Oh yeah, 32 of our first 64. You should be happy about that. It's like in basketball. It's like we went on a 125-120 run to win the game 125-120.
Exactly. Speaking of basketball, Underdog Fantasy is here for you, whether you're a baseball fan, basketball fan.
When's the finals start?
The finals will start this week.
Jeez.
On Thursday. We're still about 48 hours out.
Oh my
NBA
God.
Finals, Celtics and Mavs. Play along with us on Underdog Fantasy. Trust us, you're going to love it. And if you use the promo code PODSWRAP, you're going to get a 50% deposit match up to $250 in bonus cash. It's the most bonus cash Underdog Fantasy has ever given out. Plus, you're going to get a free special pick. So use promo code PODSWRAP at Underdog Fantasy. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description down below or just go to UnderdogFantasy.com. This couldn't be easier. For example, Luka, triple-double, okay? Tatum, higher than 7 first quarter points. That alone. Now, see, I have this. My system's all screwed up. But you can win. I saw something from Underdog Fantasy today, Jim. They sent me something. You can now win up to 325 times your money in a single night with simple higher and lower pick'ems, including the NBA Finals. You can get the $250 in bonus cash. You can get the free special pick. Just use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. You can play baseball games. Maybe you don't want to play the finals. You can play Padres tomorrow night. Game 3 of this series at 6:38. Dylan Cease. Let's say, lower than 4.5 hits allowed. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. By the way, whatever 5 picks I have in here, Jim, 10 pays $2,500, which sounds pretty good to me.
It's pretty good. Scan the QR code, top of the screen here. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code PODSWRAP when you sign up, and have fun. Go
have
win
fun.
Some big money. Go win some big money.
Tell them John and Jim sent you or something.
No, I was gonna say like deposit your first $100 match, but it's actually your deposit up to first $250. Right.
Look at it this way. If you deposit $500, they're going to give you a free $250. That's the most they've ever given you. Yes. But by the way, you can deposit $50. They'll give you a free $25 plus a free special pick.
Yeah.
So sign up. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Nicholas, thank you. By the way, if you guys are here, you got to subscribe. There's a ton of people here. I know a number of you have not subscribed because I can just see it through my screen. I'm looking at you, Darvish. Please subscribe. We have year-round content for Padres fans. Nicholas, thank you for the super chat. If you want to contribute, click the $ below the chat box to get to all the supers. He says, with Bogarts, Darvish, Musgrove, and maybe Arraez showing injuries, should Preller be looking to add? Yeah.
Yeah.
If so, who is feasibly available? Now, it is tough June 4th. I mean, this isn't screaming edition season on June 4th, even with the Arraez edition 1 month.
I'm still shocked that they got Luis Arraez when they did.
That was unbelievable. But yes, they absolutely should be honing in. We're in front of it, June 4th. There's still 8 weeks. But yeah, like we were saying earlier, maybe you missed it. I mean, we'd both be shocked if the Padres not only didn't make trades, but didn't make like sizable trades. I think we both think there'll be one more big splash type move from AJ Preller this year.
Yeah, nothing will surprise me. If they traded away like Snelling and Lesko or one of those guys and another prospect like a Dylan Head or something, and they went big fish hunting again, wouldn't surprise me at all. Because even though this team is mid, they are in it, and they're going to be in it for the foreseeable future. I don't envision any team in the National League below Atlanta making this crazy run. And even Atlanta is dealing with some issues as well, So you don't have to you don't have to like go out and try and make a Juan Soto type of deal, but it's crazy to think that Preller won't be sitting there. And if he's not already, just like doing this, like gotta make a move, like just tweak it because he can't just stand still. He has to always tinker, and he has to always try to make a big move to improve the team in his eyes.
I mean, look at it like this. Okay, to the super
Which
chat.
I'm cool with because I love the content.
Yeah, me too. I hope he does make a big move. Truthfully, here are the teams you should be circling: the White Sox, the Rockies.
Yeah.
Okay, the Angels. Someone like Tyler Anderson. We told you about the White Sox and Garrett Crochet, for example. The Marlins, obviously, Jesus Luzardo comes to mind. Like he's looking for names. The Mets. I mean, Pete Alonso flyer, probably not financially. But again, there's all these randos out there, like relievers and lefty starters like Sean Manaea, and Mason Miller conversations with the A's. I mean, are the Nationals going to hang around? Or are they going to be a seller?
Pirates.
So, like,
the
there's
Reds.
5-6 teams. But the problem is there's 5 or 6 teams, Jim, that are going to be offloading.
Yeah.
But there's like 18 teams that think they're in it for 12 playoff spots.
Yeah, like what if one of these teams gets hot? One of these, like, what if? Let me just look at the standings here. By the way, real quick, speaking of the teams, Bob Melvin blew a casket tonight.
Or is that not a casket? A gasket.
Gasket. Blew a gasket, not a casket.
He didn't go 6 feet under.
He blew a gasket tonight post game. Schulte would never.
Well, how many have they lost in a row?
6 in a row.
That's not great.
Okay, so what if Arizona, who's won 4 in a row, just starts winning 15 of 18? And you're like, okay, and they get back in this, and they, and then say, like St. Louis, I'm just like it. If one of these teams make a big run, it's going to make it even harder because then they will put themselves in it, and they're not going to be trading away talent if they view that they're in it, come trade deadline.
You got to expect that one team, like if you're AJ Preller, I'm expecting one team to get hot behind me. Like the odds are in the favor of one team playing good baseball. Like that's behind you by a game or two in the standings.
Even though the Mets suck, they're only 4 games out from a wild card spot.
I know, before
still a long
time.
In a month. Still a long time, and they're 26 and 35. But
that's what I'm saying. Like if you're 10, 12 under, you can't chase it.
But like, look at this: Cincinnati. Okay, they've won 3 in a row. Pittsburgh, San Francisco, they suck.
Yep.
St. Louis, Arizona, Chicago. They're all is the definition of mid, but like they're all there. It's just one of those teams makes a run. So
the question here from the super from Weber, and thank you for the super, it says, is there a high leverage lefty available? Well, look at it this way.
Probably.
I mean, you got old friend Tim Hill on the White Sox. Not high leverage. You have the Rockies have a good left-handed reliever, Jalen Beeks. They also have Austin Gomber, who's a left-handed starter, by the way, to consider. Another left-handed starter, Tyler Anderson, is someone you should absolutely be circling in general. Another left-handed starter is Jesus Luzardo, that we should absolutely be talking about as well. So the answer is yes. I think the answer is absolutely. Jake Diekman's a lefty on the Mets, a veteran guy, doesn't make a ton of money. So yeah, the answer, Mason Miller's a righty, but I mean, is obviously one of the great success stories in baseball this year. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of relievers. So I'm not overly concerned about their ability to bolster their bullpen with a piece. Rotation will be harder, and position players, I mean, we'll see how, we'll see what they're looking for.
They need a lot of help.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fascinating. It's really going to be fascinating. I can't wait for the tweet in like 10 minutes. Like the Padres have acquired Garrett Crochet for Ethan Salas and Robbie Snelling and $4 million or something.
Dude.
I mean, it's going to come out at like 3 a.m, like West Coast time.
Oh shit!
We're going to wake up like 9 hours later. Ethan Salas is going to be wearing like White Sox gear in Chicago. We're like, wait, what happened?
Imagine the fucking meltdown here.
Oh my God, people would lose it. By the way, Ethan Salas is like $1.80 in single A. Spicy Mayo, thank you for the super chat.
Not great.
Should Manny have gotten surgery earlier last year? I think it's a fair question. I mean, it's crying over spilled milk now because we talked about it extensively in September, and he actually is playing better. He's hit in 10 consecutive games. But I mean, we talked about it in September, and we said, yeah, in September, we felt that way.
If it caused him to have the poor start to this season, then yeah, like it's that's not good. But if it's just he had the poor start because he had the poor start,
and he always starts slow now, right? How many times have we seen this guy start slow? 4 times in 6 years, something like that.
He started
When's
hot.
he started fast?
2020.
That doesn't even count.
2022.
Yep.
Did he start fast in 2021? I mean, the team was like 37 and 20.
Was solid. In 2019,
Tatis was amazing.
2019, he was good, and then he sucked.
Yeah, he quit. He quit that year. Like he legitimately quit on that team in 2019.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like the manager.
Yeah, but he's had 4 of them now.
And I know. And he also kind of gave in 2021 because he also didn't like the manager.
Does he like the manager now?
And last year he didn't give in. He just was hurt. I mean, it is what it is. He's just, I don't know. Man, never mind. I was gonna say something that I don't want to say it.
Do it. It's just us friends.
No, I don't. No,
it's not like it's gonna be on the internet for forever, and you're gonna like tweet it out. Hey, look what John Schaefer had to say about Shohei Ohtani. Tucapito Marcano ain't walking through that door anytime soon. By the way, folks, nor is Jay Groom.
They never were,
but they weren't even if there was no betting scandal.
That's what I mean. They never were, even if there was no betting scandal. Even if they're fully healthy, they're not walking through that door. So it doesn't matter.
First of all, Marcano, I think, hadn't played this year because of an ACL. And Groom's, I think I heard Darren say that he's thrown 5 innings this year or something like that.
He's like hurt or something. Yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing about like the system, real quick. Like we had Tim Haggerty on today, right? And like the system has guys like Mazur, awesome. Future prospects like Snelling and Lesko, which aren't, again, walking through that clubhouse tomorrow. And then guys like Salas and DeVries are so far off that when you think about impacting your major league team right now in the here and now, yeah, of course, there's always an option in a bullpen. I mean, look, Jeremiah Estrada came from your system theoretically this year. But it doesn't feel like beyond Mazur, they have any quote unquote major like help coming in the minor leagues.
I talked to David J at Mad Friars the other day, and then he said the exact thing. We're like, hey, besides Mazur, is there like anybody that they could look at? And he's like, and he knows the minor league system way better than both of us. He's like,
way better.
Not really, not right now. We're like, oh, okay.
And does Preller eat? Well, that's the other point. You know how we were both like, hey, is he going to make 2.5 trades? Whatever. Because you think we'll make 2 trades, right? Whatever the number is going to be. Does he have enough capital to even do the quote unquote completing of the roster? Forget about Garrett Crochet.
He'll try his hardest.
Even get Tyler Anderson or Austin Gomber or whomever. Does he have enough to finagle it together? Or is the system ultimately not going to be as good as some of the other teams around baseball trying to add?
Well,
because you're not giving up DeVries. You're not giving up Salas.
Yeah, the players that you traded away
are who?
Oh,
like, who's he going to give up in the future now that everyone's going,
just this year, the players you traded away for Dylan Cease and Luis Arraez. By the way, has anybody looked up what Drew Thorpe is doing in the White Sox minor leagues right now?
Yeah, that's fine because you got Dylan Cease.
I know it's fine, but like, hold on, I just gotta look at this because it's funny to look at.
Isn't he 10-1 with a sub-2? Maybe
he is right now. My stupid fucking computer would load. He is shit. He is 7-1.
7-1
with a 1.33 ERA.
Where?
AA for the Birmingham
Barons.
54 innings pitched, 32 hits allowed. He has struck out 49, walked 16.
Masterclass by the new White Sox GM. I mean,
that's a pretty good. If I'm a White Sox fan, I'm like, thank God.
Well, I don't understand really getting rid of this 24-year-old that's burst onto the scene because, like, I'm banking now on Drew Thorpe and maybe this dude Crochet for the next 2 years.
Absolutely,
I can build around those two.
Hell yeah, I'm not.
So why am I moving Crochet?
The only way I'm moving Crochet is if you get like a
max return,
like Snelling and Lesko, basically taking every single one of the Padres minor league
maybe
pitchers.
one of the like if I can pry DeVries again. Is anyone? Why are we so like? Is anyone truly untouchable? I could buy Salas, okay, generational, yada yada yada. I know he's had a slow start. If
we don't even know what DeVries is, so why trade him now? I mean,
like
you can't trade. You cannot be like, yeah, we'll give him DeVries. You don't even know what he is. You don't even know what he is.
I know you gave him all this money.
No.
But he's also year. I mean, you're also talking about DeVries in like 2027.
This is a good question. Will AJ Preller be the general manager when Luis DeVries?
That's not his name.
Sorry,
Leo
DeVries. Sorry, Luis DeVries. Why is everything called Luis? Watching. Sorry, Leo DeVries is called up to the big leagues.
That's a great question. I mean, it's who the hell knows? I would say the odds are probably less likely that he's the GM because you're probably looking at 2027.
So, with that being said, then who cares, right? Screw it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, does he mortgage the future?
He's not going to be the GM by the time he gets called to the big league. So fuck it, trade him.
I mean, isn't he like 16? Is he even playing full season right now? He is, right? He just got to full season baseball.
Yeah, I just saw somebody tweet about him.
Let's see. Leo DeVries. Let's look this up. So Leo DeVries is 17 years old, 237 days. So he's actually pushing 18. He's very similar to Salas.
I saw Kevin Charity, who's part of Mad Friars, said Leo DeVries.
He's hitting 215 in Lake Elsinore, the best hitters league in America.
Over his last 8 games is 9 for 29 with 3 doubles, 6 walks, and just 4 strikeouts.
That's great. So is Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Soft.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I'm not saying trade Leo DeVries. I'm not saying trade Ethan Salas, but I'm also not saying don't at least listen if you can improve your big league roster. I'm not saying for Salas and DeVries, but if you can do it for Snelling, if you can do it for less, like there's got to be a price that sometimes you're willing to pay to acquire a player like Dylan Cease. And again, he did it without giving up those top 5 prospects, to his credit. But okay, so let's just say, okay, Jim, hear me out real quick. You don't move those top 4, the 2 position guys and the 2 pitchers, and you want to acquire real big league talent this deadline. Can you do it?
I don't know. I mean,
you're trading like Tuca Peter Marcano. I don't think he's got much value.
Eric Grupner's sitting there just like, oh my God.
Why? Because he's going to trade. What if the deal for freaking Crochet is Salas and DeVries? And it's Crochet and Tim Hill. And Tim Hill.
Here's the thing. I don't think he would get the okay for that. Like, from whoever's
consent. He's going to tell Consendo, these guys are young. These guys have who cares?
No, you know who'll tell him no? It'd be Eric Grupner. Because Eric Grupner is basically Preller's boss.
I mean, Grupner ain't saying no on Cease and Arraez.
Because they're not trading away Lesko, Snelling.
Is Grupner looking at spin rate? And is Grupner watching San Antonio Missions TrackMan data? Or is he selling billboards?
You're right. He's selling billboards. He's doing a good job at selling billboards.
Bogart, this bobblehead.
Oh, my God.
Available Padres.com/promotions.
Yeah. It's also great giveaways.
They got great giveaways. All right. Here's the deal. We will have much more on this tomorrow. By the way, I do know this real quick. It's June 4th. Like you said, here's a reason to subscribe to this channel. Every time a name comes up, come here and we'll give you our reaction, because Crochet today is the latest in the line of about 30 names you're going to hear from June 4th to August 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for that trade deadline news, hear it here first on the wrap-up show. Please subscribe. Year-on content. for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X at John Schaefer at Jim Russell SD. If you're here on replay, thank you for the super thanks. We really do appreciate those. Please support our partners. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our title sponsor. If you have an insurance need, Finnie, if you want to invest in the Shedry Vargas, get his dividends or get dividends based on his success, you can click the link in the description down below. Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. You'll get that 50% deposit match up to $250. Padres lose in Anaheim for a second consecutive day. 4-2. Can they avoid a sweep? Who's pitching tomorrow, Jim?
That would be Dylan Cease, John.
Okay, good. And is he facing someone that has a left arm that a baseball is held in?
No, he is facing somebody that throws the baseball with their right arm.
10-0 win. I have no concerns. Padres will win tomorrow. They'll get back over 500, and we'll talk about it.
Yes, they will win 7-2. 7-2.
Yes. Join us on John and Jim tomorrow at 3 p.m. Much more on the Padres tomorrow night on the wrap-up show. For Jim, I'm John. Peace.